Most men die with their best self unused. Somewhere right now, a man is sitting in a job he hates, telling himself he'll start next Monday. He said the same thing last Monday. And the Monday before that. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. It's not laziness. It's not bad luck. It's not even lack of talent. It's a hidden mechanism running quietly in the background of his brain, one that psychologists have studied for decades, that convinces him staying safe is the same thing as staying alive. But wait. Before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, "I subscribe," below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that mechanism is, why it's hijacking men more than ever in 2026, and the three-step process to override it starting today. Let me introduce you to a man named Daniel Voss. Daniel isn't real. He's a composite of thousands of men researchers have studied, but his story is uncomfortably familiar. Daniel is 32. He's smart. In college, professors told him he had real potential. He's got a decent job, a decent apartment, a decent life. And decent is exactly the problem. Every night, Daniel tells himself tomorrow is the day he starts the business, hits the gym, cuts off the people draining him. Every morning, he hits snooze, and decent wins again. Daniel isn't weak. Daniel is running on a 300,000-year-old survival program that was never designed for modern life. Here's the science behind it. Your brain has a built-in negativity bias, a tendency to weigh potential losses far more heavily than potential gains. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky documented this in their 1979 prospect theory research, showing that losses are felt roughly twice as powerfully as equivalent gains. Translation: your brain isn't wired to help you win. It's wired to help you not lose. And to a brain built for survival on the savannah, not losing means staying exactly where you are. That's the comfort trap. Growth requires risk. Risk feels like danger. And danger, to your nervous system, feels like death, even when it's just an awkward conversation or a business idea that might not work. This is why so many capable men stall out in their late 20s and 30s. Not because they lack ability, because their brain is optimizing for safety in a world that rewards boldness. Comfort is the most expensive thing you'll ever buy. Here's something even more dangerous than fear of failure. Fear of becoming someone your friends and family don't recognize. Psychologists call this identity-based resistance to change. Your self-image, the mental story you carry about who you are, acts like a thermostat. When your actions drift too far from that story, your brain pulls you back to normal, even if normal is mediocre. This explains something strange. Why do so many men sabotage themselves right after a breakthrough? They finally start making progress on their business, their body, their finances, and then, almost on cue, they blow it. They skip the gym for 2 weeks straight. They spend the savings. They pick a pointless fight with someone who supports them. It's not random. It's the identity ceiling. Your subconscious mind would rather you fail and stay familiar than succeed and become someone unfamiliar, even to yourself. Consider the story of a man named Marcus Reyes, another composite drawn from real coaching case studies. Marcus grew up in a house where nobody talked about ambition. Ambition was getting ahead of yourself. When Marcus started his first business at 24 and it began generating real income, he felt a strange, unshakable guilt. Not because anything was wrong, because he was outgrowing the identity his environment had built for him. 6 months later, Marcus quietly let the business die. Not from a lack of demand. From a lack of internal permission. This is the psychological ceiling most men hit, not because the world says no, but because some old, buried part of them says that's not who we are. The good news: identity isn't fixed. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset, published in her influential 2006 work, showed that people who view abilities and identity as malleable, rather than fixed traits, persist longer, take more risks, and recover faster from setbacks. You are not required to stay who you were at 18. You're allowed to renegotiate the contract. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your identity. Even if a man breaks through the comfort trap and starts rewriting his identity, there's a third force working against him, and it's the most modern one. Your brain runs on dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and drive. Dopamine isn't released when you get the reward. It's released in anticipation of the reward. That's the mechanism that used to push men to hunt, build, create, and pursue mates and status. The problem is that modern technology has learned to hijack this system with terrifying precision. Every notification, every short video, every like is engineered to deliver a tiny dopamine hit with almost zero effort. Neuroscientist Anna Lemke, in her research on the modern reward system, has described this as constant low-grade overstimulation that resets your baseline for what feels rewarding. Here's what that means in plain language. If your brain gets used to receiving reward every 15 seconds from your phone, then a task that pays off in 6 months, like building a business, or a body, or a skill, starts to feel unbearably slow. Not because it is slow. Because your dopamine threshold has been recalibrated by an algorithm designed by people who do not care about your future. This is why so many talented men can't finish anything. It's not a discipline problem on the surface. It's a neurochemical one. You've trained your brain to expect instant reward, and now anything that requires patience feels like torture. The men who reach their potential are not the ones with more willpower. They're the ones who protect their dopamine system the way an athlete protects their knees, deliberately and daily. So how do you actually break these three forces? The comfort trap, the identity ceiling, and the dopamine dilution. Not with motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. You need a system. Step 1. Micro-exposure to discomfort. You don't rewire a fear response by avoiding it. You rewire it through repeated, small exposure. This is the core principle behind exposure therapy, one of the most well-supported interventions in clinical psychology. Every day, do one small thing that makes you uncomfortable: a cold shower, a hard conversation, a set at the gym you don't want to do. You're not trying to achieve anything specific. You're teaching your nervous system that discomfort is survivable. Over weeks, this recalibrates your baseline tolerance for risk. Step 2. Identity evidence collection. You don't change identity by thinking positive thoughts. You change it by collecting evidence. Every time you do the hard thing, wake up early, keep the promise to yourself, finish the task you wanted to quit, you are casting a vote for a new identity. Behavioral psychologists call this self-perception. We don't just act based on who we think we are, we infer who we are based on how we act. Stack enough small votes, and the identity shifts on its own. You don't need to feel like a disciplined man to become one. You need to act like one until the evidence overwhelms the old story. Step 3. Dopamine fasting for deep work. Protect your attention like it's the most valuable resource you own, because it is. Build windows in your day, even just 60 to 90 minutes, with zero notifications, zero phone, zero short-form content. Let boredom exist. Boredom is not the enemy. It's the space where your brain resets its reward threshold and starts finding meaning in slower, more valuable work again. Men who do this consistently report that tasks which used to feel unbearable, writing, studying, building, start to feel engaging again within 2 to 3 weeks. None of these steps are exciting. None of them will trend on social media. But this is what separates the men who talk about potential from the men who live it. Here's the uncomfortable truth this video has been building toward. Every day you delay isn't neutral. It's not staying the same. Comfort